Yo, what's up, guys? Hope you're all having a good start to your week. Hope you all had an awesome weekend. And thank you guys for being here for another broadcast here on 412 Productions. As always, we like to kick these things off by just saying hello to everybody out there early and in the chat, getting here for the pre-show. So jump in wherever you are. We'll do some shout outs before we officially start the show at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. I'll start over on D Live. I see Q-Oys and Silbor over there. Joe Elaine holding it down on Rumble. So you guys watching over there on Rumble, please hit that thumbs up button for me if you haven't already. And of course, you guys know where to be. Pill.net is the exclusive home for hour number 2 of the broadcast. So make sure you find your way over there to Pill.net and find us at 412 Productions if you want to watch today's show in its entirety. Hanging out over on Pilled, I see Lance Lightspear. We got Floyd Due Diligence, and he's also hooking us up with a MAGA Rita Monday cookie, kicking off our donations today. Thank you, Floyd. Appreciate you, man. D. Richard, good to see you as well. And Delia's out there checking in from Arizona. Joe Elaine modding, keeping everything super comfy. Thank you for all you do, Joe. R. Harrell, good to see you. There's Barb Robbins in the house. Truth Teller 101, Space Cookie. Good to see you all here in the early part of the show. Running Patriot, Facts Not Fear. Hey, there's Roy Stones and Bones out in the West Coast. Yes, Coachella was lit. I didn't really get to see the rally, but I heard the turnout wasn't too far off of what we saw in Butler, PA, which is wild to think about when you're talking about Coachella, California. The things are definitely shifting here in 2024. Qhio 17, Snow Bunny 68. There's Russian Bot. Good afternoon, Mr. Gerardo. Laura Y repping the 412. Let's go. Eagle Freedom says good day 412. And fam with a cookie. Thank you, Eagle Freedom. Appreciate that. Good to see Awake Russell out there. Nezercat representing Wyoming in the house. What's up, Nezercat? Don Ritchie 17. Always a pleasure, sir. There's Cali Patriot 14. Miss MAGA 2016. What's up, guys? Dangleberry, Soldier American. Welcome. Pat McFly, Timothy Nortoni out there as well. Too Quick. Fanny, what's up? Good to see you. Mountain Lace and Dave 75. Welcome, everybody. Again, thank you all so much for tuning in for our Monday broadcast. Going to be a good one today. Should have the OG crew aboard. I know Tien said he might be running a few minutes late, but I expect Pinata to be up here, and then we should have Scott DeGroat of Woke Societies joining us for the first hour and a half of today's show, because I think he does his subscribers only broadcast at 5:30. So we'll enjoy Scott's company here for the first hour and a little bit of hour number 2 as well. So let's get this show officially underway. We'll be right back in just a few minutes.
We will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Y'all for tuning in, Patriots United, doing what we gotta do to win. We addicted to MSM and now we're moving in. And once we take over, we won't ever move again. Where we go on, we go all. I say it with pride. No, we won't run, we won't fall. We're right by your side. The demons have taken hold, but none of us will abide. Stand strong and stand bold, that's how we'll survive. 412 is the production. Monday through Friday, deplorable discussions. We're making it hard for the deep state to function. Every time they switch up the narrative, we debunk it. Adult hero is the power power that's controlling the fight. With all you patriots behind them, cause we're all in this fight. So many rhyme for so long, but we're giving them sight. Trapped in the world of darkness, but we're bringing them light. You may either find yourself in a different life. A lot of us have, and honestly, that's perfectly fine. Because exactly where you are at this moment in life is where you're supposed to be at this moment in time. It's all by design, the patriots are holding the line. They must have lost theirs, thinking they're controlling our minds. So many trapped in mental prisons don't know they're confined. They're just slaves in the system to the roles they're assigned. That's sad, the good news is that we're waking them up. They have monopolies on minds, but we're breaking them up. Everything you thought was news, they were making it up. When we ascend, all the tyrants won't be making the cut. Let them all burn in the hellscape they create. We the people already mapped out our escape. We hold each other by the hand as we all elevate and go to a different place. They can never get chased. When I look into the future, I can see that it's bright. When this history is written, they will see that we're right. We formed our own community and the circle is tight. But I expand the circle with every word that I write. The pen is sharper than the sword when you wield it with might. Why do you think they try to kick us off all the sites? These people hate America, punish us out of spite. We are the beacons of hope in the darkness of night. So let's go, strap in, yeah, get ready for the ride. Watch the water, we're witnessing the turning of the tide. Feel the passion and the fire that you got burning inside. Take the narrative they're feeding you and turn it to the side. We're alerted to the lies, we're preaching with the truth. We know the plan they devised, they're invading the youth. Now we're only sending vibes, just our lace in our boots. These demons all weaponized. Now we're raising our troops, now we're raising the roof and sounding the alarm. Remember that it's always darkest before the dawn. Life is a game of chess, they want to use you as a pawn. You're only useful until you're not useful, then you're gone. But not us, we're on the right team where we belong. Everybody is invited, so come follow along. We refuse to say things are right, knowing they're wrong. Admiral Nero, take the mic and take flight, cause it's on.
And now, straight from the Steel City, it's your host, 412 Admiral Nero.
All right, what's up, everyone? I hope you're all having a good Monday. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Thank you all for being here, hanging out with us for another installment of Deplorable Discussions. We got our special guest today, Scott the Groat of Woke Societies, hanging out with us for about the first hour and a half or so. Scott, how you been, man? It's been a while.
It's been good, dude. It's been good. Getting acclimated to this PA weather. It feels good. We're gonna get like a frost advisory out here tonight, so I got the fireplace ready to roll. The happenings are streaming through, dude. Every day feels like it's a new adventure, and I've been praying for Trump every day, dude. Every day at this point, because it seems like a lot of people want this guy dead, and I'm sure things are gonna come up today in the happenings on the show with you. So. I'm just locked in, ready to go vote. I just want November 5th to be here so we know if we're going to have World War III or groceries. And that's just where I'm at with it, too.
It is such an inflection point, isn't it, right now? Like we're what, 22 days away from this election, and it really is the point where America becomes one thing or another. And I think people like you and me, who have been putting ourselves out there very publicly on one side of this or the other. We're looking at this very closely. Like, am I even going to be able to continue to exist in this current form? In a few months. Like, we laugh and we joke about it, but dude, it's like kind of a scary time, and it wouldn't be if it wasn't like we know what they're capable of from like a cheating and voter fraud standpoint, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like we sit here and we laugh, but it is serious. Like, this is kind of like the fourth quarter of the game here for the whole country.
Dude, isn't it crazy though that like I was telling the audience, like when Joe Biden got inaugurated, I didn't know if I was going to keep doing this. Like, I really didn't know. I'm like, how the hell am I going to cover this shit on a daily basis to cover this guy? Like, who's going to want to watch this shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But here we are, dude. You know, we're literally 3 weeks away, 3 weeks to the day, and we're here. And we've been through a lot of ups and downs. And, you know, this is what I do for a living. You do this, dude, because you just fucking love doing it. And you've been doing this way longer than me. And you think about it, it's like, you know, some of my family was like, Scott, if Harris wins, they're going to hunt you guys down. I'm like, I don't know, but I'm like, I'm not going to stop. You know what I mean? Just because, you know, they dude, I don't know. It's just so much uncertainty right now. Right. And I just laugh at it, man, because otherwise I think you just go crazy.
It's wild to think about. I've been doing this for about 6 years, and I've been doing it for twice as long under, a hostile regime than under like the Trump administration.
Yeah.
And when you think about it like that, it is kind of crazy. It'd be nice to hopefully kind of switch it up here and be able to go back to doing this from a standpoint of winning and reporting more fun and triumphant news rather than like, oh man, look what these Marxists are doing to the country we love this week. So
Yeah.
hopefully it's just like that necessary pain that we have to go through, the awakening process to come out the other side with a real mandate to make meaningful and long lasting change in the long run. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, it's great to have you, and we're gonna get into so much here over the next hour and a half with you. So let's bring in Drunk Pinata. We'll take care of our sponsors, and then we'll jump right in. Pinata, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good, good. How was your weekend? How was your the start to your week, your show today?
Pretty good. We are seeing a shift on their side. They're becoming increasingly more desperate in their messaging. I mean, to the point where Kamala Harris is supposed to be going on Fox News now. I mean, when you have to go try to make your case like that, that's something else.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those
But
things
it's
that are
okay. She's going to go talk to a Democrat bear anyway. So
yeah, and it's gonna be pre-recorded as well. So we can only imagine, how
well,
they're
no, I can tell you, you're right. We don't necessarily have to imagine. We can predict exactly what she's going to say because she had said the same things over and over and over. So now it's just a wider audience will be turned off by her. So that's fine.
yeah. Well, hopefully Brett Baer brings his A game and actually presses her on some things, but I'm not gonna hold my breath, and I'm not gonna hold my breath that if she does completely fall apart during the interview, that Fox will even allow it to be broadcast in its full context, similar to what we saw with 60 Minutes. But we'll wait.
I actually I don't. It doesn't. If they show 1% of it, it's still going to turn people off. They could edit it. They could do whatever. It's already been shown. Even if they edit it, you can't save her.
Yeah, it is that bad. It is absolute cringe fest.
I mean, I
Uh,
was making the comparison today that let's just say for the sake of argument, but of extreme hypothetical, that it is that she has exactly the same record as Donald Trump, the exact same uh, love for the country, like everything, and you can really put it right there. And then they both speak. Just the voice alone. Just the voice is disqualifying. The voice. Do you really want that screeching at you for 4 years? This is, I mean, another reason why they call us a bunch of sexist, misogynistic pigs for denying her Queen Hillary in 2016. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, it's actually still a valid point.
yeah,
People don't want to be talked down to, and specifically by a strong woman.
no, there is something to it, and even like Saturday Night Live is turned against her. I don't know if you've seen some of these clips that have come out from Saturday Night Live,
Oh yeah.
where it used to be
Yeah,
that.
I make sure to check out Saturday Night Live after they air it just to see because that's typically what they're allowing their permission structure to be able to make fun of. And so we saw it with COVID, like after a long time, then they said it became acceptable. So then they kind of changes the acceptability of people being able to go against it. So it's like a permission structure type of thing. So and right now they are allowing people to dunk on Kamala.
Very
Well,
interesting. Yeah, it's fun to see. All right, let's take care of our sponsor, and then we'll kind of get into all kind of stuff here. First sponsor and only sponsor today is Earthgarden Botanicals, earthgardenbotanicals.com, run by our friend Jolene up in Montana. She makes these wellness products. All the ingredients are locally and organically sourced, which makes some fantastic products. The CBD oil tinctures are the best I've ever used and the best I've ever tasted. Amazing flavors like orange ginger, bergamot, huckleberry, cinnamon bliss, cherry, peppermint, you name it. A little something for everybody there. They got CBD oil for pets and a topical cream and arnica salve for your sore joints and muscles. You can get that with or without CBD infused. Check out the Fire Cider to clear your sinuses. Elderberry tonic, really good for boosting your immune system, which is really important this time of year as the weather is fluctuating. Does a number on, I know it does a number on me at times, and it could definitely help get your body ready for it. If you needed the detox, check out the white pine needle extract or the sunshine and pine needle tea. And of course, the critter juice, the insect repellent, all natural, keeping the mosquitoes off you. If you're still dealing with those where you are, I know it's getting kind of colder and the mosquitoes become a little bit less and less of an issue, but a great product nonetheless, and worth mentioning. So promo code 412 at checkout gets you 10% off your order. So go to earthgardenbotanicals.com, load up a cart, say hi to Jolene for us, and yeah, use that promo code 412 at checkout. Also, just want to give a shout out to Rise Attire USA.com, guys. They've been, pretty hard hit by the hurricane up there in North Carolina. And if you guys, don't mind just going to check out their website, riseattireusa.com, for all your evil-free apparel, and the only place to get exclusive 412 Productions gear. Promo code WTP RISE at checkout for 10% off your order there as well. So big thank you to Rise and Earth Garden Botanicals for sponsoring the show today. All right, well, it's Columbus Day. It's Columbus Day, and of course, the left and especially Kamala Harris can't miss an opportunity to pander to the woke element of their base. So I'm gonna play this minute-long clip just to get a reaction from you guys here. Oh, I gotta share my sound. Here we go.
It is an honor, of course, to be with you this week as we celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, as we speak truth about our nation's history. Since 1934, every October, the United States has recognized the voyage of the European explorers who first landed on the shores of the Americas. But that is not the whole story. That has never been the whole story. Those explorers ushered in a wave of devastation for tribal nations, perpetrating violence, stealing land, and spreading disease. We must not shy away from this shameful past, and we must shed light on it and do everything we can to address the impact of the past on Native communities today. It is an honor, of course, to be with
Never miss an opportunity to pander.
I don't know. Is she talking about the border? It's never the whole story.
I know, right?
Spreading disease. Oh, yeah, you're right. The fucking trafficking, the fentanyl. Yeah, you want to talk about spreading disease from foreigners coming and landing on our shore?
It's amazing, isn't it? It's really amazing. I guess just what hypocrisy is really at the front of it. The complete lack of self-awareness and total hypocrisy coming from our borders.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's great. And what a way to shit on Catholics too, right? Yeah. I mean, it's I saw Daily made a post about, like, hey, we really need Catholics really right now. Like, they're trying to pander to black men. Let's take a shit on Christopher Columbus and call it Indigenous Peoples Day. It's just every day it just gets worse for her, dude. Every single day. And the pandering is so obvious. And like Drunk Pinata said, every time she opens her mouth, you just want to fucking shoot yourself. It's so bad. She can't talk. The fact that she can't do town halls without I prompt her is insane to me. Like, these aren't like, at this point, dude, like, we've watched so many of Trump's rallies. Like, I think I could go and speak. If I were to go into a town hall, I could eloquently speak and answer questions about what Trump wants to do myself. I'm not a politician. Right. It's just saying, like, this. It's not. I think most people will be able to do this, and she can't even do the simplest of shit. And you have Tim Walz. I can't load a shotgun on top of it over the weekend. It's just like, do you think this is really working? Like, who's believing this? Like, it's so pathetic.
Well, my issue with that is that they are there themselves. They're filming it, and then they're like, no, let's do this again. It's like that's the take that they chose to put out publicly. And there's many examples of this. So there's different videos of them trying to act in a certain way, and you're like, that's the one you went with? That one? You couldn't have said, "Hey," no, you couldn't have said, "Hey, let's try that again." No, that would have sent that one out. If that person had if you come across that person and you're hunting, go back in your car because that person's gonna hurt somebody. That's like Dick Cheney shooting someone in his face.
It's insane, man. And Max just said in the Max and I said, not to mention Whitmer was mocking Catholics when she fed the fucking feminists a Dorito.
Yeah,
dude, that was so weird. It's just this whole party, dude. It's just
I saw something else in that too. I saw that she was saying, "Look, I could have done a better job than Walls because she's wearing the hat, right? And so she's got the Doritos, the nacho Doritos. What I saw is that it was her criticizing Kamala's pick. That's what I saw in it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it isn't. You bring up the Catholics and Christians. I was watching, I think it was Charlie Kirk, and he was talking about how like a lot of Christians are just sitting out elections. Like they don't feel necessary to vote. They don't, they won't vote for Trump because they don't think that they think he's a flawed man or something like that. I don't understand that at all. I mean, granted, I'm not, I guess, technically a Christian, so I can't really speak for it, but if you can't see the left's animosity towards you and the attack on everything you stand for as a Christian, like to just sit out and allow that to happen is kind of wild to me. I don't know what the mindset is there, but
yeah, wasn't the Olympics opening ceremony kind of eye-opening enough about what these people feel about like you and what you believe in? Like they made a mockery out of you.
Yeah.
And you can't vote for what it was because Trump isn't as strong as abortion as they want him to be, or I'm sure that maybe it has something to do with it. But I mean, if Christians are saying they don't want to vote for him because he's a flawed man, and I'm just going to say like that kind of upends everything about you and what you believe, in my opinion, as far as your religion. It doesn't it doesn't add up to me. That's crazy.
And what's really crazy is Trump's stance on abortion is completely irrelevant to abortion law anymore. And that's the beauty of the overturning of Roe versus Wade is it's as much as a pro-choice move as it is a pro-life move, because states that want to have abortion will always be able to have it now, and states that don't want it will be able to get rid of it. It's taking the federal government completely out of the decision making and allowing each state to decide how they want to handle the issue on a more local level. I mean, you would think that would be popular on both sides, especially when they're hand-wringing over the idea of a federal abortion ban. I'm still waiting for Donald Trump to make the point that no, the overturning of Roe versus Wade would make that unconstitutional. Like the federal government has no say, no jurisdiction on this issue whatsoever. So it's just an interesting mindset from both sides on this. The right that wants him to be more pro-life, and the left that is scared that he's gonna put some kind of federal abortion ban across the board. I think both sides are kind of missing the mark here.
For sure.
Yeah. Speaking of cringe, I have to play this. So Kamala Harris is struggling to connect with men. She's down, I think, 16 points when it comes to male voters. So they created a new ad to relate to men. Have you seen this?
Yes.
It's so good. It's so funny.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse.
I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually.
Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story.
That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful.
That's not how my mama raised me.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
Incredible, dude.
Is this legit or is this straight up mockery? I can't tell. Like that's where we are right now. Like I watched that. I didn't know if this was on the right, like making fun, or if this was a legit like ad that someone made to convince men to vote for Kamala. Like
You're right. Dude, if you just swapped out the end endorsement for like the Dilly meme team or another memer, that's all you'd have to do. Like, and the message is completely turned around. You know, I don't know if you got the article about the actors. They're all washed up fucking Hollywood actors, dude.
Here, I got something for you guys. This explains it.
Have you seen the most cringe-inducing political ad ever made? Well, if you've seen the new Be a Man for Harris ad, I think you have. Let me show you a little snippet. Don't worry. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing.
I'm a man. I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough. I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
Yeah, I certainly don't doubt that you do. So this video would lead you to believe that Kamala Harris is able to get a diverse group of men in every aspect to support her, when really, they're just all woke actors. Like, really woke. For example, this dude, this is Mike Leffingwell. He lives in LA and works for an organization called the Upright Citizens Brigade, which is basically like a super woke improv group. He's a cartoon writer for Netflix and DreamWorks, so I don't know what the fuck he's doing on a ranch. The thing he's done that he's most proud of is an improv act called Two Dumb Lawyers. He also runs improv workshops on how to be honest about your white privilege. So yeah, that's this man. Oh, and this guy, who for some reason is sitting in the 5th grade glamour shot pose. Like we should be seeing like a superimposed faded image of just his face here. At least that's how the pictures looked when my sisters did it. This is Waylon McQueen, who also...
I mean, come on. What are the odds that guy has a queen in him?
...works at the Upright Citizens Brigade. He is a failed comedian and actor who does improv about exclusively woke topics. And then we get to this guy. He's actually Lanre Ndewu, who does like trashy horror flicks. Weirdly enough, he also said he braids his daughter's hair, but he doesn't have any children. That's kind of weird. We also got this guy, who's supposed to be that older, grizzled, probably a member of the Hells Angels. That's just actor Tony Ketchum, who the last movie he did was 2001, where in Ghost World he played alcoholic customer. Oh, and let's not forget the big rancher and mechanic who eats carburetors for breakfast. Yeah, he's also an actor who lives in LA named Winston Carter, who's best known for his 4-minute role in Spaghetti Man. And I think that perfectly defines Democrats. See, they believe in diversity, but just in diversity of what you look like. See, because they made sure they got themselves a couple of white dudes, a Hispanic man, a black guy, and an old grizzled looking white dude. They didn't care that every single one of them lives in LA, is woke as fuck, and is failing in their careers. They'd have to be. I mean, who the fuck else would be willing to do this ad? But of all the things they said in this ad, there is one thing that I completely believe them on.
Hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I have no doubt they know what it's like to be full-throated.
It's so bad.
It's so cringy, and doesn't surprise me at all that it's a bunch of like woke actors or failed, washed up like Hollywood types.
But dude, what do these people expect though after the years of trying to destroy men in general, the masculinity aspect? I mean, how many articles did we see throughout the years about you're a white supremacist if you even go into a gym, if you're healthy, if you have muscles, and then they puffer up obesity. They for years they have destroyed men, and they're sitting there wondering why the men are leaving in droves. And who's left? It's these fucking insane liberal white women. that eat this shit up. It's not. It's too late, guys. It's not going to work.
It's so funny too. I don't know if you saw a few I don't know, like a month or so ago, there was another ad for like white dudes for Trump, and it started off like, "Hey, white guys, are you sick of being like the enemy or whatever?" And it's like, yeah, you fucking did that. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Did you see that by any chance?
Oh.
I can't remember who produced it, and I'd have to go so far back in my bookmarks to find it that I don't think I could pull it up efficiently here. But it was kind of the same thing where they're like, "Are you tired of being like the villain in the story? Like, vote for Harris." It's like, wait a minute, like it's the Harris supporters out there that have created that entire mindset to begin with. It's insane that they would even run an ad like that.
And the way he was making fun of the way that guy sits. You've seen Justin Trudeau, right? You've seen Macron. They all sit like faggots, dude. Like they look like fairies.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, dude. In my life, none of the men in my entire life have ever sat like that. I mean, if I were to sit around a campfire with a bunch of my friends, dude, and I sat like that, they would start questioning my sexuality. That's just being honest.
100%. What's up, Tian? How you doing, man?
Oh, I was at the pharmacy trying to get my beta blockers. That was my comment on that ad. It's like there's something to be said about beta blockers.
Yeah.
Like,
good time for that.
And notice, I came in the middle of your convo, so I know you were still playing it at the time. Notice the choreography. The only one that was actually looked like an alpha male was the muscular black guy. The other guys were beta white males.
Yeah.
That was purposeful because that came out right about the same time as Obama is out there, Hussein is out there chastising brothers because they're not supporting Harris.
Let's talk about that for a minute because that was also
yeah.
He comes to Pittsburgh, PA, my hometown, and he holds this private speaking engagement where a whopping 400 people show up. And again, just think about that. Donald Trump shows up, speaks to 100,000 plus in Butler, the place where he was shot in the face. Barack Obama shows up to talk to 400 people. And the entire premise of what he's saying is there's not enough enthusiasm for Kamala Harris. And he says the choice in this election is so clear. Someone that understands you, that grew up like you, who's been through the same struggle. Again, promoting this completely fabricated history of Kamala Harris, that she's, an African American that, grew up in a middle class family when she comes from an elitist group of Jamaican slave owners from what I could tell from Candace Owens' research that she's been putting out there. And then
even if you took that out of the equation, her background is not what the typical, let's say, inner city person is.
Hey, come on, we all grew up in Canada, right?
Yeah, exactly. But so he goes on to say that, forget about all their aspects here. The way she looks, this color of her skin should be reason enough for you to vote for her. And the fact that you're not just means that you're not comfortable voting for a female. Now, if I'm a black guy and this guy comes up and starts preaching this shit to me, I am incredibly insulted. Like that's basically saying that you're not smart enough to vote on issues, policy, or what's actually going to make your life better. You're just voting because you don't want, you're intimidated by the idea of a female running the country.
Well, they're really desperate. Can I show you just really quick how desperate they are to get that black male vote? Look at this. They pulled out the old card, the old
out $1 million to $20,000 loans. It includes a plan to invest more in apprenticeship programs, hire more black teachers. There's a health initiative for ailments that specifically affect black men. And she's reiterating her support for legalizing recreational marijuana.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's throw that one in there too.
Let me buy your vote and get you on drugs. But the funny part is the last one on the marijuana pot. Trump already came out with that about 2 months ago.
Yeah, I'm just saying how desperate they are. They're like, hey, come on, we'll legalize weed. Come on,
Gates
guys.
everything on that list.
Hey,
It literally negates it all.
Rattle, look at, while we're at it, look at the OG. I put a Carly Bonet truth out there. It's right. Was she's just doing a TikTok read truth, but take a look at it. It's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, I saw that, and there's so many of those clips out there.
I know, but it's just like these people are getting pissed.
Yeah, we'll play this one because it is one of the more.
It's short too. So.
It's short and it's let me cue it up, but yeah, it's my Twitter feed. I don't know about yours, Scott, is loaded with TikToks of black people just going on about it. You've been watching these?
Yeah, I played a few.
And they're not even tagging you; they're just putting it out in the clear. Out in the blind. They just put it out there.
They're done, man. They're fed up, dude. They're on MAGA, dude. And it's not as much as the women, but the women are noticing too, and the women are actually standing up for their men, the black men as well, because it's what you said, dude. It's insulting, and that's putting it lightly. Yeah. And they're done with it.
The word I would use is the Democrat Party has a sense of entitlement towards certain groups' votes. They feel like they don't actually have to come through on any promises or actually do anything tangible to earn these votes from certain communities. And it may have worked for a while, but it's falling on deaf ears anymore. So I'm gonna play this. I could play. I've bookmarked probably at least 10 other clips that run in parallel to this. Different, men, women, just different members of the black community that are reacting to Barack Obama and the Democrat Party. And it all falls along this line. Now, this guy's particularly pissed off. Language warning for anyone out there that doesn't like the F word. He drops it a few times here. But like I said, I could probably fill up the next half hour of the show just playing the clips that I've collected that kind of run along this theme. Take a listen.
Obama needs to shut the fuck up. Talking about some black man, you all need to support this sister. I'm very, very disappointed. Motherfucker, we disappointed in you. Should be grateful that we let you exit peacefully after giving us that 8 fucking bullshit of years. What you need to be doing is focusing on laying the pipe down on Michelle and leave us the fuck alone. Richest president in history. Act like it. We have already told you we're not voting for that damn hoochie mama. Why are you begging us for? We don't want nothing to do with the Democratic Party. Did you not get the fucking memo? Y'all keep sending these damn celebrities to beg us, and our response is no. We don't even like you. You are the biggest disappointment in black American history. This motherfucker did everything for the alphabet community and not a motherfucking thing for the black community. But you want us to vote for your party. I'll tell you what, write a check for $20 million for every fucking American, then we might consider it. Damn, man, fucking begging us and shit like you Felicia. Come on, man, I'll suck your...
Yeah, the hoochie mama. The thing that
love it.
So there's a line that I like in the movie Sahara where the guy says he says at one point we have to reconsider our decision-making paradigm because she goes from Waltz to Cheney to Obama and it's tanking all the way. I mean, all the way. Waltz is a total mess, right? Cheney comes out and it's like she's the top dog in the Republican Party, and then Obama comes out totally elitist.
Yeah, and again, like I watched that Obama speech, and maybe I missed something, and Scott, help me out here. Did he say one thing that she was actually going to do, like a plan, an agenda item, or was it just?
No, it was total vote by skin color, as racist as you could possibly be.
He shit on Trump as much as he could, and by the way, dude, he didn't look good. He looked unhealthy. He looked low energy, and felt low energy. Like whatever Obama.
You know why, right? Big Mike is low T.
I mean,
he's not getting his protein.
Or adrenochrome. I don't know, dude. It's one of the two. Something going on with him because Because at first I was like, okay, shit. Because I remember how good Obama was back in the day. Like he could speak, he could get the energy out, he could tie up a whole bunch of people if he wanted to with how he spoke. So I'm really curious to see what he comes out and says. And I was after the end of it, I was like, man, I don't think we got anything to worry about. We really, really don't, because this guy just it was flat, dude. That's the best word I could think about. It was flat, and I'm like, when he's out there blaming his black people, I'm like, I saw this other clip. There was a guy behind like a counter, and he was pretending to be a Kamala supporter. And I'm sure you saw, Adel. He was asking each black guy that came up to, he was buying Dutchies or whatever. And each black guy is like, no, we ain't about Kamala. He's like, that means you're about those Venezuelans, man. He's like, you fucking kidding me? Like, it was one after another. Because the thing is, dude, most people, especially now, they're gonna be voting with their wallet, right? Their pocketbook. And that's hurting everybody. And it's not just that. They see these illegals in their communities, and these people are getting walked right over. And it's a unifier, dude. So, like you guys said, like Cheney, Bush, we have Trump, Elon, and RFK. You know what I mean? Like, what do you? I mean, that you can't. To me, and you can't not beat that coalition, because it's not just Trump anymore. It's everyone Trump's bringing in as well. It's going to be amazing.
Yep. No, you're absolutely. I haven't seen that particular clip, but you're right. When they're dropping and they're trying to use neocons, essentially the most hated Republicans of all time on either side of the aisle, the Cheneys. I think Dick Cheney had an 18% approval rating when he left office.
Damn.
Liz Cheney got voted out by a historic number in her primary, something you just never see after what she did with the J6 committee. Nobody wants these pro-war military industrial complex stooges. Like, people see it for what it is. They're tired of your tax dollars being sent over to these foreign wars to to help illegal immigrants, when people, like real Americans, are struggling with one thing or another. And I mean, you could just kind of go down the list right now. Most prevalent, I guess, would be the hurricane relief. Scott, I'm sure you've been following that. I mean, there's another giant swing and a miss by the regime.
It's one thing, and they've been missing it for years. And it's the most obvious thing, is that the America First sentiment predates Donald Trump. They still don't understand that, because they're operating as if he's the leader and started this whole thing. No, this has been brewing for 20 years.
It goes back to the biggest, most visual one was the Tea Parties, which we spoke about earlier. The interesting thing is that what I've seen, that the theme of the videos now is the lies. The lies are catching up to them. People are calling them out on the lies, and it's funny because they try to nail. 50 Democrats wrote a letter requesting Speaker Johnson to call the House back into session to vote for additional funding for FEMA. And it's funny because Johnson was being interviewed, and he says, we just passed in the last cycle, the last fiscal year, $22 billion for FEMA. That's a big, and then you add on the $7 billion that I was talking about the other day that the OIG found that they had routed to 41 programs that they extended without even any form of notification of what the reason for extending the program that was about to end. And FEMA agreed to reappropriate that money back into the disaster relief fund. That was August 14th of this year. And then on October 1st, which was the fiscal year of last October 1st, was $22 billion to FEMA. So where did it go? It didn't go to Hawaii.
Sure didn't go to Hawaii. We know that. And
right.
Sure.
And what other disaster have we had that required FEMA participation? Because the California fires were a long time ago. The Hawaii fires were last year. And now you have Helene and the hurricanes in the southeast. Aside from that, what catastrophe has befallen to the country that required FEMA? Illegal.
It's a great point, Tien, and I know we've talked about it here with the OG crew. I'm curious, Scott, what you would have to say about the effect of Helene and the outcome of North Carolina. The Trump campaign was concerned that there could be close to 500,000 people or so disenfranchised by the disaster relief. They're changing laws that could affect election integrity to try to help people to get out to vote. So I have mixed feelings on that. I feel like if the infrastructure is damaged and you're having trouble getting people out, that could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, depending on how it's managed. But then there's the other side of it of the lack of response and that turning people against the Harris regime. How do you see that playing out, like on either side there? Are you worried about North Carolina? Do you feel like this was an attack on a swing state using like weather manipulation to affect voter turnout? But will it backfire because their response time was so bad and maybe turned off other North Carolina voters that might have otherwise stayed out, voted the other way? Like, what's your overall feeling in North Carolina? Do we need an extra Rust Belt state?
So those counties that got hit, I think I think Seth Keshel broke this down. 26 out of the 29 were crimson red for Trump. That to me says a lot about what happened. And I literally did just last Monday, because when all that stuff was going down, I had so many of these clowns telling me that weather manipulation isn't real. These things are too powerful for mankind to manipulate. And I literally did a Monday night show about this. I was out in the UAE, and the last experiment they did was 2 years ago, while they're literally creating storms to make it rain, to bring forests to desert land. So it's like I don't want to hear from fucking people that have done nothing as far as digging into this stuff, saying that mankind cannot create weather. And like we saw that in Vietnam, right? They made it rain so much that it killed off vegetation, so it starved out the people in Vietnam. Like that was back in the 50s or 60s, whenever that was, you know? So what it tells me is after COVID, these people will kill you if they have to. And I don't think it's that crazy to think that this wasn't targeted some way. They knew this was coming. I watched Ryan Hall, like a lot of people do when this stuff happens. I'm curious to see, historic, weather events. I find it fascinating. Everybody knew the shit was coming up. And even he was saying, like, it's very, very odd that these storms they're just cruising along. They usually die down. And these areas aren't usually hit like this. And when you start looking into it and the response to it, the response tells you that's the other half to it, because now they're quote responding, but right after is when you need to have the most response, right? Because when you're 5, 7, 10 days down the road, I feel like you already missed the mark, dude. And the majority of the people that you could have saved, they're dead. They had no response time, because I do believe they want these people dead. And they're going to try to do, I guess, like these vans. I don't know if you saw that, like these mobile voting, van units or something. They're going to try to do something, dude. But it's like you can't just replace 500,000 people, 3 weeks out from an election. They're going to try to do something, man. But the response time to it tells me, and I hope it energizes those people to go out and vote even harder, because they got the notice and said, hey, this government will kill you. And they have no problem doing it.
What's your gut feel, man? I mean, has North Carolina been pretty reliably red, for a while? Like, is this a problem? Are you concerned about them maybe stealing an important state using this? Because they always find a way, something we never see coming, as a way to kind of.
Dude, it's not the realm of possibility with these people. Yeah. It's really not. Do I think it's going to go blue? I don't, but this is their attempt. And I think we're going to know more as as these next 3 weeks unfold. There's going to be updates about the area, how the infrastructure, no matter what, it's going to take months, if not years, to rebuild all that over there. But for me, it's like, get these people a way to actually be able to move around, communicate, do basic shit. There should be ways to get them to be able to vote, right? I mean, these are machines that you just need to have electricity running through them with poll watchers. I don't think it's like, there could be fucking tents, dude, for all I care. There's got to be ways to allow these people to still vote and give them a way to do it. So
if you look at what they've done that. That's the changes that they made. Now, obviously, it could open up a hole for somebody that wants to abuse it. But my point is that they didn't do the changes for the abuse. I don't think because if you look at the changes that they made, is to facilitate the people from not being bound to the area that they're in to vote.
Right.
So
I mean, to answer your question, I think North Carolina will be okay, but I think it's a bigger message to the rest of the country is that you cannot rely on your government, even if Trump's in. And I'm sure Trump would have had a better response, but the devastation that happened there, dude. I mean, whether Trump was in, a lot of people are going to die. You know, you have to protect yourself. Do not rely on the government or for God, no, never rely on FEMA for saving your life or your family's life. You got to do it yourself.
No, absolutely. And we brought up earlier the idea when we were talking about the Black community, how they're not falling for the lies anymore. They're calling out the lies, the dishonesty, the hypocrisy that they're getting from the left and the mainstream media in general. And then you look at this disaster response and the way that they're freaking out over misinformation and disinformation over it online. You're seeing John Kerry come out, Hillary Clinton come out and saying no uncertain terms that the First Amendment is a problem. It's affecting our ability to govern, to control the narrative, to control the way people think. I'm not even really misquoting that like seriously. They pretty much came out and said it. That they need to shut down these social media platforms. So you could see how they want to use these hurricanes and then the narrative behind disinformation affecting response time to create some kind of governance board that takes a huge chunk out of our First Amendment, basically criminalizing any kind of speech that they deem to be hateful or dangerous, which is very, very concerning. And also I just wanted to like throw into the mix of this part of the conversation how different it all feels, right? Because Elon Musk freed Twitter. We finally have like a space on a mainstream platform to counter the narrative. Like they can't hide things the way they used to. It's been largely opened up. The flow of information is in a completely different spot than it was in 2020. Your thoughts on how big of a deal that is going into this election and likely what we'll see beyond election day, going all the way to the certification of the vote.
Yeah, dude, the momentum's there and Trump's got it. I found that video actually of the one I was mentioning of the black guys talking to the worker behind the counter. And I swear every black guy that talks, it's like have they been watching Trump rallies? Because they know what's going on. And you're right, dude. I mean, I saw Elon said it in his the Tucker Carlson interview. He said, yeah, if Trump loses, I'm fucked. Because isn't it to me, it's sad that he knows that. And we all know that because if they take Elon down, it won't be for anything that he did wrong. They'll just make something up and he knows they'll get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's at stake here. It's more than just, it's Trump getting Trump in. It's everything, and I don't think we would have had the videos of all the hurricane disasters. Maybe not as much, but I mean, TikTok stuff comes out on TikTok relatively pretty good, but X is it. If you want to know what's going on in the world, you go to X. That's where the platform is. So yeah, if we didn't have that, man, I don't know what we would be doing. I mean, we still got pilled, obviously, but you're talking mainstream millions and millions and millions of people. It's a crucial tool, and they hate. I mean, Hillary Clinton I was saying it too, right? There's she was like foreshadowing an October surprise, and and she was re-asked about the WikiLeaks and Pizzagate, and the audience was laughing, and she's like, no, it's not funny. That wrecked my campaign. And she was basically warning Kamala, like, you got to be careful here. And to me, dude, it's just a call for more censorship, and not just censorship, but outright destroying the platform. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well, yeah. She did say, if they don't control and monitor, we will lose all control.
Yes.
We will lose. I beg your pardon. She said we will lose total control.
Think about that, Scott. And I made this point a few times on the show. Hillary Clinton, who does not hold a government position, who has really no power, is saying the words, and I quote, "We lose total control." She is including herself in a power structure. So, we're always mocked for saying they, like they do this and they control that. And who's they? Who's they? Who's they? A skeptic will say. Well, here's Hillary Clinton again saying we lose total control. So I'm going to go out and say that our we or their we is our they, right? When we say they, that is, I mean, it's just so, if you really think about it and break it down, it's so illuminating, like how they think. They feel entitled to be the arbiters of truth.
Yep. Adam Schiff came out, Hillary came out. It's all, dude, it's the same thing that they did 4 years ago when they got us off of YouTube. It was the same tactics. The calls for censorship about a month and a half before the election. It's the same crap. And dude, and by the way, tomorrow will be the 4-year anniversary of the YouTube purge of 2020, which I cannot believe.
Doesn't it feels like a lifetime ago, and it also feels just like yesterday at the same time,
It does. So it's been a crazy journey, man. I just noticed that when I looked down at the time there. Tomorrow will be the 4 year.
Sorry, and the cherry on top, kind of shifting gears, but not necessarily shifting gears. It's not grinding until you find them. But on October 27th, Trump is going to do Madison Square Garden.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
On October 27th. I love it. October.
Let's jump into that for a second, right? He's going to Madison.
I didn't mean to digress, but it fits right in because it's like the more they do, the bigger. He's going to fill Madison Square Garden. Well, the heart of New York.
Well, think about Coachella. He had 100,000 people in Coachella.
Yeah, well,
the same size as the Butler PA rally, where he was shot, for crying out loud. He had Elon and showing up, and that was like the most hyped up event of the campaign. He had 100,000 people. He showed up in deep blue California, got 100,000 people. He went to Colorado, got a massive crowd. Then he went down to Arizona, got a massive crowd. And it's all about immigration. It's all about the border. People are showing up everywhere he goes. And we only have a couple minutes here before we go to our break and go exclusively to Pilled. But what do you make of, because we didn't see a lot of this in previous elections or midterms, him going into enemy territory. It really feels like the America First movement is on offense. They're not just going to swing states. They're going into deep blue states that they really have no reasonable chance of actually winning, but they're meeting the opposition where they are, and they're forcing at least some kind of conversation that otherwise, there's really nothing there. So what do you make of that?
New York's moving red, dude. It's and I saw Seth Keshel do a breakdown of the counties. There's more movement towards Republicans in majority of New York counties right now than there was even in 2020. And there was a lot of movement to Trump in 2020 as well. So the fact that Trump is going to be, I'm not even going to say wasting, but putting resources when you're that close to the election in a state that, normally you wouldn't expect him to, that tells me there's blood in the water and there's opportunity to strike. Because, dude, if he were to win New York, what a big, I can't think of a bigger fuck you from MAGA to the rest of these cronies out there than winning a place like New York State. It would be incredible. And the fact that he's going to do that MSG, it's going to be legendary, man. Absolutely legendary. And
you realize that's the heart of the New York Tri-County area. Manhattan, the county or the borough of Manhattan is it in New York.
I don't even know.
He's going into the center of the center.
Dude, I don't know where people are going to stand. I've been out there many times. Yeah. There's nowhere to stand out there. There's going to be MAGA literally all over the street.
Now I went. I was in Washington D.C. for Glenn Beck's Restoring Honor rally, right? And that was 500,000 plus people. I could tell you what it was like just trying to get there. Now, I was there the night before because we started realizing that there's no way we were going to get there if we waited until the morning. So we went the night before. Then the morning of, the lines for Metro, all the way out to outside of the city Metro were like a mile-long lines to get on the Metro. Now, Manhattan, Madison Square Garden, there's no parking. That's just total public transportation. So can you imagine what the subway is going to be? Can you imagine what the Grand Central Station is going to be like?
Yeah, it's good luck. I mean, you just got to get there. There's nowhere to go.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Just, yeah, pray for the people out there, man. New York, it's a dangerous place still. But also, it's also the capital. It's the media capital of the country.
Yeah.
So what is Trump a master at, guys? He loves the spotlight, and he's going to get it at MSG. I mean, you had that clown senator tried to cancel it because they said this is equivalent to Hitler doing a rally in whatever 1930 something it was, and it's
yeah.
to spread violence, and it's just like, dude,
yeah, such bullshit.
All right,
such bullshit. Anyway.
Let me go ahead and do our break here because we're about to run over, and then we got lots of other stuff I want to get to. We'll see how much of it we can here in hour number 2, especially before Scott leaves to do his show, which is at 5:30, a subscribers only show tonight. We'll see what he's got going on here on the other side of the break as well. But come on over to pill.net. If you want to keep watching, we'll be exclusively over there in the 5 o'clock hour. The link is in the Rumble description below the stream, and I'm also throwing it in the Rumble chat and over on DLive as well. If you can't get to those links, it's as simple as typing in pilled.net to your browser and finding us at 412 Productions. I'm going to play a 30-second video. We'll come back on the other side, officially say goodbye to our other platforms, and then we'll catch up on your gold pills. And we'll get into hour number 2 of our discussion. See you guys in just a minute.
Pill.net is proud to host 412 Productions, exclusively on the true home of free speech. To continue watching the show, we are here to help you over to Pilled. If you're new to the platform, just click on the welcome link provided. It will then automatically walk you through signing up for your free account. If you already have a Pill.net account, follow the link provided directing you straight to 412 Productions channel. We are excited to have you join the Pilled family, and if you have any questions at all, please email support@Pill.net. Enjoy the rest of 412 Productions on Pill.net. Free speech lives here.
All right, we are back as always. A big we love you. Thank you to all of you who take the time to jump over to Pilled for the second hour of the show. I really appreciate you guys who pop over from our other platforms. Again, the links to do so are in the description underneath the Rumble stream. I threw it in the live chat as well over on Rumble and on DLive. And of course, it's as simple as just typing in pilled.net to your browser and finding us at 412 Productions over there. All the links to the live channels are in thumbnails. If you're on mobile, at the top of your screen, on desktop, the left-hand side. Again, we're not hard to find over on pill.net. So pop on over if you want to keep watching. Otherwise, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your Monday. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time with another deplorable discussion. So jump over. We'll catch you guys on the next one.